Welcome once again to our online lecture of the B.Sc. first year Analytical Chemistry. Dear students, in last lecture we have learned about the introduction of the gravimetric analysis as well as the gravimetric principle of gravimetric analysis as well as the entire procedure for the gravimetric analysis. Then in today's lecture we are going to learn about the steps which are followed in the entire gravimetric analysis as well as the gravimetric conversion factor. The gravimetric conversion factor is very important in the gravimetric analysis because the amount of that element is determined by using the gravimetric conversion factor. So it is the most important part of the gravimetric analysis for the determination of the amount. So let's begin with the number of steps followed in the gravimetric analysis. That is nothing but the first step is the formation of the solution, then precipitation. In the precipitation there are so many steps are there: the nucleation, then digestion, then the filtration, as well as the drying, then washing, and then the ignition, as well as the weighing. So all these are the steps followed in the typical gravimetric analysis. So let's start or begin with all these steps which are followed in the gravimetric analysis in details. So let's see the gravimetric steps. So the gravimetric analysis involves the following important steps. That is, first step is the precipitation, second step is the digestion of precipitate, third step is the filtration of precipitate, fourth step is the washing of precipitate, fifth step is the drying or incineration and ignition of the precipitate or the compound, and fifth and last step is nothing but the weighing of the dried or ignited compound. So these are the almost six steps followed in the entire gravimetric analysis. So first step is the precipitate, that is the conversion of the given ion into weighable form. Then second is the digestion of precipitate, that is used for the increasing the particle size. Then third step is the filtration of precipitate. This filtration of precipitate is done by using the various types of the filter paper, that is Wattmann filter paper or Gush crucible. Then fourth step is the weighing of the precipitate. This precipitate is weighed by means of the using crucible as well as the weighing balance, and drying and incineration or the ignition of the precipitate is done, and cooling is done, and after that the weighing of the precipitate is done. So all these six steps is followed in the entire gravimetric analysis. Then see, so first step is the precipitation. Then what is the precipitation? This is the first and important step in the gravimetric analysis. The main aim of the precipitation is to convert or to transform the ion or element to be determined into the stable insoluble compound having the definite known formula called as a precipitation by the addition of a reagent from outside. So what is the first step? First step is nothing but the precipitation step, and it is done by using that what is the important part of that precipitation is to convert the given element or ion which we will have to determine, or it is get converted into the or transformed into the element that is with the definite formula or known formula or definite formula or in the weighable form. This step is known as the precipitation step by the addition of the what? A reagent from the outside. How this precipitate is or the ion is get precipitated by means of the adding the reagent from outside. Hence the process in which an ion or element to be determined is converted or transformed into a stable insoluble compound of a definite known formula or the composition by the addition of reagent is called as the precipitation. So for example, A plus is get precipitated. This is what the ion or element to be determined, that is nothing but A plus plus B minus is the reagent added, and it is get transformed into AB, that is insoluble precipitate or insoluble compound of definite known formula, or it is known as the precipitate. So what is the precipitation? Precipitation is nothing but it is the process in which an ion or element to be determined is get converted or get transformed into the stable insoluble compound of definite known formula or by composition by addition of the reagent from outside is called as the precipitation. So this is about the first step, precipitation. And then the precipitation process is nothing but the formation of precipitate takes place immediately after the precipitation of the particle size of the precipitate will be small. So after the small particle size formation, we desire to increase the particle size. Then the second step arises, that is nothing but the digestion or the aging of precipitate. So aging means what? We are increasing the particle size, precipitate particle size, by means of the slightly heating the precipitate. So let's see what is the aging or the digestion. So it is the second important step in the gravimetric analysis. The main aim of the digestion of precipitate is to increase the particle size of the precipitate. So what is the main aim? It is to increase the particle size. Then the process of allowing the precipitate in contact with its mother liquor or the solution for some time to increase the particle size is known as the digestion or aging of precipitate. So what is the aging and digestion of the precipitate? Is nothing but the process in which dot the particles are bring contact with the mother liquor of the solution for some time or some instance to increase the particle size, and is known as the digestion or the aging of the precipitate. So see here what the figure here, what how this precipitation takes place, and after precipitation the digestion or aging is takes place. So see here what the here the particle size is small, and in after digestion, that is what the digestion or aging by means of the heating, this or slightly heating, gently heating the solution, will get the particle size large as compared to the first particle size. So as precipitate with a smaller particle size, and here what the precipitate with the what the larger particle size. See here what the smaller particle size is there, and after digestion here what will get the bigger particle size precipitant or precipitate. So the immediately after the precipitation the particle size of the precipitate will be small, hence by digestion or aging the particle size of the precipitate increases and the amount of co-precipitated impurities decreases. So what is the main aim to main aim of the aging of precipitate or the digestion of precipitation of precipitate is that to increase the particle size or to decrease the impurities which are encountered in the precipitation. So this is about the digestion or the aging of the precipitate. So what is the main aim of this digestion or the aging of precipitate is to increase the particle size as well as to decrease the impurities, that is co-precipitant impurities, or to decrease the co-precipitation. Then third type of the steps which is followed in the entire gravimetric analysis is the filtration of the precipitate. So the filtration of the precipitate is the very important third step in the entire gravimetric analysis. So after digestion, the precipitate is filtered, and it is the third important step in the gravimetric analysis. The main aim of the filtration of precipitate is to separate the precipitate from its mother liquor or solution. In the filtration process, the precipitate and mother liquor solution is passed through a suitable filtering medium such as filter paper or filtering mats or the filtering crucible to separate the precipitate and mother liquor from each other. So the precipitate is retained on the filter paper, that is what the filtering crucible or filter paper, where as the mother liquor passes through the pores of the filter paper or filtering crucible, hence the separation of the precipitate from the mother liquor occur. So what is the filtration? Filtration is the simply what the separation of the filtrate that is precipitate from the mother liquor by using the aid, that is nothing but the filter paper or the crucible or filter mats. What happen when we add this solution, that is precipitate on the filter paper or filtering the precipitate by using filter paper, that the precipitate lie on the or remains on the filter paper, and the mother liquor gets passed through the filter pores of the filter paper and will get the separated mother liquor and the precipitate. So there is, and will what is the precipitate which is remain lie in the or lied on the or the remains on the filter paper is known as the residue. Now this residue or the precipitate in the washed. So the next step of the entire gravimetric analysis is the washing, nothing but what the washing of the precipitate. So this is what the fourth very important step of the gravimetric analysis, that is nothing but the washing of precipitate. After the filtration, the precipitate is washed with a wash liquid. It is the next important step in the gravimetric analysis. So what is the main aim of the washing of the precipitate is to what? To remove the impurities present in the main precipitate. By washing, we can able to remove the impurities present in the precipitate. So the precipitate after filtration is washed with a few portion of suitable wash liquid to remove the impurities present in the main precipitate. So it is the it's a beneficiary step for the getting pure compound, that is nothing but precipitate, by removing the impurities by washing the precipitate. Generally, washed liquid contain an electrolyte or an common ion is used for the washing the precipitate. So generally the liquid containing electrolyte or the common ion is used for the washing purposes of the precipitate. So this is what the about the washing of precipitate, that is nothing but it is a very important fourth step in the entire gravimetric analysis. So next step is the what? Drying or incineration and the ignition of the precipitate. So this is the most important fifth step of the entire gravimetric analysis, and it is done by means of the ignition or drying on the hot cone, or the it is get what the ignited or incineration on the heat or the what the muffle furnace or in the oven. So after washing the precipitate, it is dried or ignited at a definite temperature to constant weight. So we'll get the constant weight. After that, there is no loss in the weight after the drying of this precipitate. So main aim of the drying or ignition of the precipitate EB at a definite temperature to get a constant weight is what convert the precipitate EB into a compound or same or new having the definite known formula. So what are the why removing the uh, that is the moisture or the another type of the impurities. So we'll get the definite known formula or composition for this compound and suitable for the weighing purposes. So this is the fifth important step in the entire gravimetric analysis, that is nothing but the drying or incineration or ignition of the precipitate. So next step is the what is the process of heating. What is the uh, drying or the incineration or the ignition? The process of heating the precipitate at a definite temperature above 100 degrees Celsius is referred as drying and ignition of the precipitate. So we have to dry or we have to heat or ignite the compound above 100 degrees Celsius is known as the drying or ignition of the precipitate. So by the drying and ignition, the precipitate AB is converted to same, that is nothing but same formula or new compound, that is AB or AB dash compound with a known definite formula. So this is about the sixth step and fifth step, and the sixth step is the or the final step is the weighing of the compound. Then the precipitate after drying or ignition is then cooled in the desiccator and finally weighed as the same compound AB or new compound, that is AB dash. And by weighing, after the weighing, we can able to determine the amount of given ion or the component present in the given compound by using formula, and we can also what calculate the percentage of that given ion or the given element present in the given compound by using formula, that is the amount of the compound multiplied by the atomic weight of compound divided by molecular weight of compound and wholly divided by the weight of sample taken into 100. We can determine the percentage also. So this is about the steps in entire gravimetric analysis. Then the next topic is the stoichiometric and gravimetric conversion factor. This topic we will see in the next lecture. So thank you, thanks a lot. If you have any queries regarding this topic, please comment your questions in the YouTube comment box. So thank you, thanks a lot, have a nice day.